Hello all, welcome in or welcome back. This is Tarot Mama, and today we're going to be discussing the Seer's Tarot deck by Chris Ann. This is one of my absolute favorite decks. So this is probably one of I believe this is the first deck I ever bought for myself. So first of all, I always like to show the box and give a little feedback on that. So this box is really nice. It's really simple to get apart. It's very nice and sturdy. So it's great, again, as like a keepsake box. I do not keep my cards in boxes since I use them very routinely, and I also use cards from all different decks to do a single reading. But I always keep the boxes, and it's a very, very, very nice box. Okay. It also comes with a great book. So this book has all of the cards, and I love the way she describes these. She gives them as the Light Seer, which would be like your upright meaning, and then the Shadow Seer, which would be your reversal. Then she gives a little bit of a brief description, followed by an affirmation at the bottom, that's probably the reason I keep this book handy. Sometimes I'll be called to read the affirmation that's associated with a certain card. I even will actually read this sometimes for a different deck even. So I might be using a different deck and I'll be like, ooh, I really feel like you're supposed to hear the affirmation. And so I'll pull out Chris Ann's Light Seer's Tarot book and find that card and read it, because it might have some extra meaning to it. So I keep this book handy all the time. One of the very few books that I do use on a routine basis. So I'll put that off to the side here, and let's take a look at the deck itself. So again, I always like to mention the backs of the decks. I love artists that will give me a symmetrical background, because I do read reversals. So if I can tell which direction the card goes, it's kind of a pet peeve of mine. I do like that these are not super glossy, so they do have a little bit of a kind of grit to them as you're shuffling and dealing with them, which I find makes it easier to pull cards. They don't slip around, so you don't drop them as easily. All right, now let's take a look at the fronts of these cards. Now this is probably the deck I recommend the most to new readers. She does use the Rider-Waite-Smith meanings behind the cards. But the reason I say that I probably recommend this the most is because there is quite a bit of diversity in the decks. The cards themselves have a very gentle read to them, which is really nice to for somebody who's sort of getting into it. People who are getting a reading that may have like fears about the cards, and so this kind of I don't get any bad vibes to any of the cards in this deck. It always gives me kind of a gentle vibe to it. So I actually use this deck the most for when I'm doing a reading for somebody. I always start off with just connecting with the person, and so I will use this deck if I feel like the person that I'm reading for, or the energy that I'm reading for, gives me a feminine vibe. This kind of has a lot of like strong feminine energy to it, so it helps me kind of connect with that as well. Feel free in the comments below to share if you have this deck, if you have any special uses for it, if this is your go-to deck, etc. But personally, if I was going to read with just a single deck for the rest of my life, I probably would use this deck, to be quite honest. That's how much that's how much I like it, and how much I connect with it. So if you have any questions, also feel free to put those in the comments below. And if you'd ever like to get a reading, feel free to visit the Ko-fi page, or come visit us and hang out when I go live on Twitch. All of those will be in the links in the information section below. Thanks for watching.